Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we didn't want to start playing a video game yet, so we're talking about video games that are coming next year that we're excited about. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
I think this new slogan's good. I think this is great. I think it flows off the tongue really well.
Oh, so well.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
So yeah, this week we are going to be talking about our games of next year, things that we're excited about, things that we hope are coming out, things that there's no way in hell they're coming out, but we have to, like, I have a quota of things I have to say for future games. So we'll be getting to all of that in a second after I ask, how's been everyone's week?
Me and my friend were like, we want to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but we haven't watched Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2. So let's hang out and watch Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. But then we couldn't find a time to hang out that wasn't too late, and we ended up hanging out when it was really late, and we were like, it's too late to watch Sonic the Hedgehog, let's play Smash.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I did this week, really. Except I started playing our next game, Lufia, and it rules.
It rules so hard.
I'm so glad to be playing a Super Nintendo game for the podcast. I love Super Nintendo games.
Me
Super
too.
Nintendo games are good. Some of them, most of them, a lot of them, not most of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I love looking back at the previous generations and finding which one won the console war by having all of the garbage on it, and that means the Super Nintendo at the time. There was a whole lot of games for the Super Nintendo, and there shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of the games that are on the Super Nintendo are delightful.
Yes, which is the same thing with the PS1. There are a whole lot of games on the PS1 that absolutely should not exist, and yet it has most of the best games of all time are a PS1 game.
I mean, I also maintain that the PS1 has more great games than the N64 has games, period.
Yes, absolutely.
I would, even despite the Nintendo 64 literally being my first console I ever owned and being one of my favorite consoles of all time, you are completely correct. I would agree with you entirely.
Back when I was doing learning data for the first time, and me and Bernard had a similar thing about the PS1 and the N64, I went and I compared. So if you take the top 10, I forget what website I decided I was going to look at it, but like the top 10 games of all time for that generation, it was about half and half from PS1 and N64. But then as you got farther and farther down, there were just no N64 games, and there ended up, I think it was either by the top 100 or top 250. I don't remember where my data cut off. There were more Sega Saturn games that were on the top 250 than there were on the N64. It's
really?
Like Super Mario 64, Paper Mario, Ocarina of Time are pulling a lot of weight for the N64 to be a well-remembered console.
That just reminds me of, I saw a Tumblr poster today that was very funny, where it was someone saying that their favorite Sonic character model ever was the one from Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast. Not because it's good, but in the same way that a lot of people are so fond of Mario from Mario 64, of like, he's just my little guy, he's just gonna be kind of wonky and gonna run around and jump on cars, and it's just okay.
Absolutely.
And like, I get it. I see the vision, and I might honestly completely agree. Especially with Sonic. As for the last week for me, I might be able to be told on the recording from the audio quality. I'm back at home. I'm sitting at my desk once more. I am no longer in Joyzy. I missed Joyzy. It was fun being over there, mostly. Between last recording and now, mostly we just chilled and enjoyed getting to spend time with together, me and my girlfriend. But we did also we met up with a friend of mine. It was our second time meeting up with this online friend in real life. It was the friend who we went to the museum with last time I was visiting. This time we went mini golfing, and I haven't been mini golfing in a long time. But this is like an indoor mini golf place where the whole thing was like dark and there was black light kind of style, bright colors everywhere. It was very weird, and it was also blasting music from like the 2000s. it was a fun experience. I did golf back in like elementary school for a couple years, and so I do have just an affection for golf and mini golf by extension. I'm not good at it. I was the worst player, and we were the worst team. That's not an exaggeration. I was by far the worst player on the team, and we were by far the worst team in our league. But yeah, it was mini golf was fun. We did for our way back because my wife was visiting her family in Pennsylvania, so we did a road trip of going up there first because it wasn't very far away. It was like an hour away from where my girlfriend lived. So we picked up my wife, and then the three of us all road trip back home together and stopped at a diner, and it was just delightful. And then earlier today, me and my wife and my girlfriend all cuddled on my bed, and we watched Symphogear, and we watched Columbo, and it's just... I really love being polyamorous and having multiple partners in the same place at the same time where we can do stuff like that. It's very fun, and it makes me feel overjoyed.
Yeah, it rules. Big recommend. If like that works with how you do it. I understand it doesn't for some people, but if it does for you, big recommend. As for me and my week, I am currently on my Giga vacation. I have 16 days off in a row because
Incredible.
of how all of the holidays and my kids' birthdays and everything lined up. I was able to get 16 days off for the price of, I think, 6, maybe 7 of PTO. So it was like wonderful. And as part of that, I've been doing a lot of catch up for the JRPG canon. I have 2 entire episodes written so far. I did one yesterday, one today. Both of them are getting recorded sometimes this week. And to help me with that, some very, very nice, very fragile old man on Craigslist put up a ViewSonic A90F Plus CRT on Craigslist, and he was like, I hear that this is a good one for quotes gamers, but this has never been a quotes gamer. It has only been a quotes computer. And so he was giving it away for free, but he had like looked it up to see if it was worth anything or not, and then of course saw all of the Reddit posts and stuff about it and everything. So I went and I grabbed it, and my current retro gaming setup, making it actually 240p is a little bit too hard for how it all is set up, but I can do really easy 480p. So as long as I ignore the crappy the unmatched pixelated size in the for the PS1 and N64, everything looks really good on the CRT, and I've been playing stuff on it, and it's been wonderful. I am glad that this project is finally over, and I'm glad that because of this nice old man, the project was free instead of very expensive, because getting a computer onto a TV is like 9 adapters, and each one costs $100.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
I am looking forward to at some point finally doing the project where after I've cleaned out more of the garage of empty boxes and boxes with my shit still in them that hasn't been unpacked, trying to like set up some sort of like, carpet and sofa and TV and shit down there. So there's like a cool little hangout spot, because most of the house is the second floor, which is where people live. Several of those people have noise sensitivities, and watching things on a TV or playing things on any volume on a TV is difficult, if not impossible, even in my sectioned off room. So doing that downstairs in the garage would be a lot easier. Yeah. Also, I just would enjoy having that hangout spot.
Yeah, hangout spots are really, really cool. Yeah, other than playing a lot of retro games on a cool looking thing, at work, we had a project that I offered to do about a year ago, and they were like, yeah, but no thanks. And then a couple of weeks ago, they were like, hey, we have this problem, and the only real solution we can do is if you do that project that you really wanted to do. So I got to work on that project, and I had my first deliverable on it the Friday before I left, and that was real exciting. But those are all that I've done is work in retro games. Oh, also, the other thing that I did for Christmas, which happened since the last time we've talked. For Christmas, Summer got me a tablet holder arm, so I can play Switch games and Steam Deck games in bed without my top arm getting heavy and uncomfortable. So I can just have a controller in my hands and play in bed, and it's very comfy, cozy, and I've made a lot of progress in Xenoblade because of it.
Hey.
But yeah, speaking of great games, let's talk about some great games that may or may not be coming out next year.
It's gonna be a good day, good night. Within the inner heart of plea, for you to talk to me. I wanna hear the good and bad, the stories you had. As I drift across the sky, the overhead turns high. So good night, let me sing a lullaby. I'll be singing, baby.
All right, so first up on the docket is what are some games that you guys are excited about that have like actually been announced for next year? They don't have to necessarily have a release date beyond 2025, but we're going to focus on ones that are potentially real and tangible, and we'll get into some crazy shit before we hang up.
So I looked at a list of games that are scheduled for next year.
Same.
And I realized that there are a ton of games coming out next year that I am really excited for that I have homework for, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got a couple of those on my list too.
I have a couple. I have one basically of that. My bigger thing is I didn't find a lot of games I was excited about for next year. I dug and I scrounged and I found something resembling a list. But I'm definitely excited that we're doing the other second part of this as well.
Yeah, I'll get us kicked off with a game that's coming out in like 2 weeks, which is Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I have long since, I think it was literally on our original episode 0. I was talking about unknown games that everyone needs to play, and I mentioned Tales of Grace's F by name. It is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's pretty close. I was going to say it's not close, but it's pretty close. But I'm very excited that it's going to be accessible and everybody can play it. As well as with that announcement, they basically said that they created a sub team to bring old games forward. And so I'm hoping that after Grace's, we get Azalea because the PS3 is dead.
Yeah.
And then after Azalea, we get Tales of the
Azalea 2.
Abyss. Well, yeah, both Azalea games probably coming in a combo. But then Tales of the Abyss hasn't been seen since the 3DS, which is also now dead. So
yeah,
I would like a new one of those.
There are a lot of cool remasters and remakes coming out next year, like Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster.
I wasn't sure about putting this on there, but I saw that. I was very interested as someone who's always thought the Suikoden games sound cool. I've actually played Suikoden 3 a little bit because I was on the right corners of the internet to get gushed at about how great it was and was like, yeah, no, this game rocks. So trying Suikoden 1 and 2 on a remaster would be delightful. And looking at this Tales of Grace's F remaster, I'm like, this looks fun. I'm down for it.
Yeah, the Tales of games are really good because of characterization and the story of Tales of Grace's F. The characters are phenomenal. My favorite cast in the series. But Tales of Grace's F then has going with it the absolute best Tales of combat, and it's like everyone agrees that Tales of Grace's F has the best combat, and it's one of the few Tales of combats where at the end of the day you can get good and not have to be stuck with with the RPG of it all. So many of the others, it's like you will run out of MP, and the only way you can actually beat this is if you can cast enough spells. So you run out of MP, you suck, you have to go and grind. But in Tales of Grace's F, there were like 3 or 4 times where me and Summer were playing together, and like she would die and go down, and we would run out of life bottles, and so I would just keep dodging out of the way and getting in a chip damage and taking down the boss, and it was so much fun. I'm very excited for it.
Fun.
I'm also super excited for that Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster. It's one of the few PS1 game remasters where they looked at the beautiful backgrounds and didn't say, I think AI can fix this. Like so many. This one looks like they actually took care, and that owns.
My first real one is going to be one that I didn't even have to look at a list. This is the only one that I didn't have to look at a list of what's coming out next year to immediately know it is the game I'm most excited for, which is chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune. Because I'm crazy and I need it. I need it.
Yeah,
I have literally dreamt about it.
That one is on my list of homework games. I'd never have even loaded up chapter 2 at all.
Chapter 2 is so
I've never even loaded up chapter 1.
Okay. All I will say on that matter is I think the first hour of chapter 1 of Deltarune is one of the greatest segments of any video game I have ever played in my entire life. It is spotless. It's immaculate. I adore it. And I love chapter 2 on the whole even more than chapter 1. And so I'm looking at chapters 3 and 4 and going, can this keep going? How I need to see. I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard?
So I am very excited for Clair Obscura Expedition 33. That's one of the 2 games that I don't have a bunch of homework for.
Yeah. That one looks so stupid good.
Yeah, it is just a Japanese style role-playing game developed by a
French
developer.
Studio, I think.
Developer. Who is developing it?
It's Sandfall Interactive.
Yes, it is a French studio.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was a French studio, but then Sam said it was a French studio, so
And
I
I'm
started to
always
doubt
wrong.
it.
This looks really cool.
But yeah, it just had a really wacky, crazy trailer, and it's turn-based, and I have a weird affection for French RPGs, like Vampire and Greedfall. So I'm excited for that one.
Oh, there's a new trailer for Clair Obscura I haven't seen yet.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there's one that introduces your party members.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. But I'm super excited for it because it has additions. So this is finally our spiritual successor to Legend of Dragoon that I've wanted for a very long time. Charlie Cox is the lead? Hell yeah. Andy Serkis is in this? Jesus Christ, that game's gonna rule.
Oh, they got Andy Serkis? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that game. Here's a twofer that I'm excited for. So first up is in March, we're getting the beginning of the next Atelier trilogy, and I'm very excited. The trailer for it didn't feel like it was an Atelier game until you got to the end, and you're like, oh my god, this looks epic for an Atelier game. But they're also coming out with another one, which is Atelier Wrestleriana, the White Guardian and the Red Witch, or something like that. I don't have it in front of me. I just wrote down Atelier Wrestleriana because the first Atelier Wrestleriana is the gacha game on the phone, and Gust is a lot like RGG Studios, where they're like, I made an asset once, I'm going to use it for 15 years. So they made all of this stuff for the gacha game, and they're like, we could make another Atelier with all of this stuff. So it's a regular single player alchemy JRPG based in the Atelier Restlariana universe, and it looks like it'll be really cool. Over the last trilogy, they did a thing that I think is going to be what they're going to be doing going forward, where you have the current trilogy pushes the boundaries, goes forward, evolves the premise, and then in between the Ryza games, we got the Atelier Marie remake, we got Atelier Sophie 2, and both of those are a lot more of this is a cozy game. There is some stakes, but it's not really like a true JRPG, where Ryza absolutely was. And so I'm hoping and guessing that Restlariana will be another just like cozy, simple alchemy game, and less of the big epic RPG. Though I am very excited for the big epic RPG, because Atelier Ryza was one of my favorite games of the PS5 era, because I started playing it on PS5.
Those games sure have some titles.
They absolutely do.
They truly do. For my next one, this is not like a big I'm really excited, but it is I watched a trailer and I'm a slut for a platformer, and the characters look cute, but Demon Tides looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I have the first game, the game that came before that. Which I really want to play because it looks cool. Demon Turf, I think it's called.
I didn't know there was a previous game. Yay!
Yeah, you could play that now.
I could. But yeah, no, looks like fun. What's the word? Like movement styles in the game from the trailer. Again, the characters look very cute. I pick up vibes a little bit. I don't know if those are actually present or not. I don't care. I my recurring thing throughout maybe some of my list is just, man, I'd love to have some new really good platformers. I love a good platformer.
I love platformers.
Me too. So I had only heard about Demon Turf recently, and I loved the fact that it was a Billboard Sprites platformer game. I thought that was wild and cool that they did that. And looking at the new one, it's like full 3D and everything, and it looks fantastic. I think the guy did a talk recently this year, one of the leads of it, talking about the subgenre of platformer that these games are, and that he's inspired by. He calls them expressive platformer, where getting from point A to point B is not hard, but how you do it can be a lot of fun. So things like the 3D
Yes.
3D Mario's, Penny's Big Breakaway, Demon Turf, those sorts of things. And I was like, yeah, I like those a lot, where it's like I don't need to long jump everywhere, but I'm going to, because it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the old thing of Super Mario 64 is a masterpiece even if you don't go in the castle, because
Yep.
you can just jump around the courtyard, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of games with the word demon in it, I'm excited for Demon School.
Demon
yeah.
School.
Yeah, so it's the new Necrosoft game from Brandon Sheffield and his people, and the vibes are very PlayStation Persona-like, but he has said that
I was gonna say
it's not a Persona-like. It's like, obviously it's inspired by it and like in conversation with it, but it's not just like a straight up Persona game, and they're kind of doing their own little different thing. I haven't checked out the demo yet, because when I check out the demo, I'm going to be mad that I can't keep playing it. So I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I do know that it is going to be cool.
It does look really cool.
yeah, very very interesting. They're not really sprites, but the like character designs are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess actually the sprites in combat. Yes, I was looking at the like more drawn conversation scene character profile things. Cutouts.
cut-ins, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, those.
So this one on my list is not one I'm actually going to play, but I just think it's crazy that it exists. So it's the new Neptunia game. I'm not going to play it. I haven't played any of the Neptunia games, but the new one is called Neptunia Riders versus Dogoos, and it is a collectathon racing sim motorcycle combat game.
What?
And that just sounds amazing. You go through these big open areas to collect the dogoos, and then you can raise them and get the best ones. And you do it while being on a motorcycle that you use in combat. It's nuts, and I'm glad that it exists, even though I probably won't play it.
Yeah, same.
That's
Actually,
a lot.
Oh, go ahead.
I just said that's a lot.
Oh, okay. I actually have a game like that on my list. That is a game that I'm glad exists, even if I'm probably never going to play it. Which is the fact that apparently there's a new Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines coming out. There's a sequel to that coming next year, which I have no interest in Vampire the Masquerade. It is so not my thing. But like the original Bloodlines is such a like weird point in video game history, especially in that like specific immersive sim genre, that hearing that they're doing a second one is like I'm sorry, what? I mean, yay, but what?
It has been my understanding is that it's been sort of in development hell for a while, and it changed developers a couple times. But yeah, it seems like it's actually coming out next year, probably, maybe, definitely.
Yeah, that just I saw that.
I hope
on
it
the
turns
list.
out really great, because for all the same reasons you said.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want people who like the kind of weird freaky games of that sort to get to have a new weird freaky game. My sister once streamed that game, I think earlier this year, and it seemed like a blast, even if it wasn't my jam.
Yeah, it is Book Club no Kuseki host Matt's one of his absolute favorite games, and he's been looking forward to this one for a long time. So I am very looking forward to not being able to record Book Club no Kuseki again after it comes out.
Because we are so famously usually able to record it.
Yeah, we're really good at having that second podcast.
I am so excited about Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I should beat Death Stranding 1. I love Hideo Kojima and his works.
Yeah, I still don't think I'm ready to play Death Stranding 1 because of the whole baby part of it. But
I can see that, yeah.
But it looks really cool, and the idea of it, everything about it seems great. I just do not want a crying unborn aborted child coming out of my controller all the time. It's not exactly a thing that I welcome into my life for the past 8 years.
Yeah, no, understandable. I have played one Hideo Kojima game in my life, and that was the original Metal Gear. And
original Metal Gear for the MSX?
I played it NES and MSX, both of them.
Okay, I was just wondering if you were talking about the PlayStation game, which is...
No, not Solid. Original Metal Gear. I haven't even played Solid. I think he is a fascinating creator. I understand how he's one of those people. I feel like this might be a complete thing that no one will get or agree with, but not being like one of his fans, Hideo Kojima seems like he is to video games what Grant Morrison is to comic books. As like just this creator with such a very distinct, bizarre flavor of making games that you could like alternates between critically acclaimed and has its fans, and kind of has a reputation of being kind of hit and miss in that way. I don't know. Like,
I think he hits more often than he misses. So
I would agree.
I think
I
he
think he
bats
hits
1,000 or 900 maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of a game that at least isn't well received from him, but I don't know his entire catalog. So I also think batting 1,000 with an asterisk of I'm usually wrong.
Okay.
But
I should say I say that as a Grant Morrison fan.
Yeah.
Almost everything I've read about them, read of theirs, I love. And the things that people don't love that they did, I'm like, listen, maybe you just don't get Final Crisis. Have you considered that?
yeah, I think in general the vibes of it being like Grant Morrison will deliver a pretty fine Superman story or something, but then also we'll do Animal Man and all of
Yes.
that's craziness. That vibe of Grant Morrison does fit Kojima, I think, where it's like
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid has a couple wacky moments, but it is a tactical espionage game, and there's a vampire in the second one.
Yeah. But he's not called that because he's a vampire. It's because he's bisexual.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of remasters, as we did earlier, we're getting a Lunar Remastered collection, which I'm excited about. Not because I want to play Silver Star Story again, but because they acknowledge that there's a second game in the series for the first time since it was released.
Crazy.
Silver Star Story got remade for the PSP and the Game Boy Advance, and it got a re-release of some sort in between now and then. And Eternal Blue has just been sitting there, the PlayStation port, its most recent version, for a very long time, and so now it will get the same sort of love, and I'm excited for it.
Yay!
And also there's Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition coming out, which I am so excited for. I can't wait to play that, and I'm sure someday you'll beat Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and then you can play Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, I thought I was real close to the end because of the way things were going, and I was watching the new Daryl vid about his backlog because he's been doing that every year, and he also played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for the first time this year, and he referenced something that I can tell I'm leading up to as the big middle of the game thing, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm halfway through. I thought I was about done, and I'm about halfway through the game.
Xenoblades is big.
They is some big ass games. So another remake or two more remakes to get us caught up on the remake talk, unless there's another one I'm forgetting. We're getting Trails in the Sky the first, which I'm excited about because it'll be a Trails game that I can just play. Because unfortunately, after I beat the first one, I was like, this is amazing. I need to make everybody play it with me. And I started that podcast, and now I've never played a Trails game just for fun. And so this one is one we've already covered on the podcast. So I can play it and enjoy it and take my time with it. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Falcom remakes, we're getting a remake of East, the Oath and Felghana this year as well, a remaster. And it looks fantastic. I fell in love with East 1 and 2 when I played it, in a very similar way to how Dragon Quest broke my brain. East 1 and 2 broke my brain. And then I played Oath and Felghana, which it didn't break my brain. It's just really fucking good. And I was like, oh, this is a really good action platformer type game. I love it.
Yeah, I've only played East 1 and 2 and then East Origin, and they're good games. Yeah,
Oath and Felghana is in the same engine as Origin, so it's good.
There's also Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake coming out.
Yes.
Which I haven't played Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake yet, but I've heard it's a absolutely fantastic version of that game. So I'm excited for this to exist too.
I need to get back to 2, and then I need to finish 3. Or not finish. I need to finish 2 and start 3 at some point. And this seems like a good excuse to do that.
Yes.
Dragon Quest is so fun.
I love Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder when we'll get more information on Dragon Quest 12. They sure did announce it a while ago.
moving away from the remake remaster sort of thing, a game that I'm actually now realizing I don't know for sure is coming out next year, because I thought for sure they said it was coming out this year, but apparently not. Is a game from a studio that I'm gonna double check. I have only technically played a single game of, because I have touched Crash Bandicoot in my life a little. But Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, despite having a kind of garbage title, the trailer for it looks really dope.
Yeah.
Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet is it's fun to say, if you ask me.
Oh no, it's just it's a little word salady.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I love space shit that feels very lived in, and where there's cassettes and like toggles and switches and Cowboy Bebop-esque sort of space shit. That's delightful. I know very little about. There's not a lot out about the game, but it looks neat. I saw a trailer, and if it comes out this year, I'll watch in envy of anyone who has a PS5.
Man, you said it was word salady, and now I'm just imagining Hamsar saying Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet.
On a console I do actually own, Pokemon Z to A is a new Pokemon game, and it's another Pokemon, Legends Arceus type sort of thing. I still can't believe they chose Kalos next. The only thing I can think of is between that and the last one being Sinnoh, they're actively trying to do more stuff with the gens that most people forget exist.
I love Kalos, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you like Kalos. Listen, every Pokemon generation is someone's favorite, and that makes me happy. But also, I really don't like Gen 6.
I really like Kalos, but for me, that one, not as much as Unova was, but I felt like it was all populated. So I don't know how that's going to work with the Pokemon Legends format, unless Legends doesn't mean it's another Legends Arceus. It just means these are Pokemon adjacent games that we don't have to follow the rules with, and it'd be its own.
I mean, from what I understand, you're basically taking part in building the Paris-like city at the center of Kalos. Like you're part of its grand creation, which, like, cool, I guess, but
Yeah, it is. It is like all they've said is that it takes place entirely within Lumiose City.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And yeah, I've been wondering if it is going to have a similar structure to Arceus, or if, like you said, Legends is just these are Pokemon games that are different. But also, I still haven't finished Pokemon Legends Arceus, even though I played a bunch of it and really liked it.
Yeah.
I have got the shiny charm. I have done so much in that game, and I want to do more, but it's a thing I like wax and wane on, and currently I'm waning on it. And later I'll get back to it and be like, I must continue my insane quest to fully complete every Pokedex entry.
So when I was starting Xenoblade 3 and I was trying to decide which game from the divorce year is getting played in secret next, there were 2 Pokemon games on that list for me to choose from, and I still haven't played either of them. I will get there eventually.
They sure did release 2 Pokemon games in the same calendar year.
They did.
And it kind of didn't work.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
I love Scarlet Violet. Would
Same.
love if they worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about those 2 games is Arceus comes out and everybody is showing like digital foundry footage of when you're flying over it, and you can tell that the textures are all repeating and all of this. Look how bad the graphics are. And then when Scarlet and Violet came out, they were like, look how well they did with Arceus 6 months ago, because it was just that much worse.
Speaking of, because there was mentions earlier of games you need to do homework for, I think especially from you, Bernard. I have one game like that, and that's Professor Layton in the New World of Steam, because I am one Professor Layton game behind. I never played the Actually, no, 2 games. I didn't. I only played the first 4, so I have 5 and 6 still. And now apparently the 7th game coming in. I thought the series was over.
Yeah, I have homework for that one too. I am only 7 games behind, so
Oh, okay.
I think I can catch up by the time it comes out.
I still love. I was playing a visual novel the other day, and they were talking about something that was very clearly supposed to be. I could tell they were riffing on Professor Layton because they talked about a really bad spoiler twist ending in a book, and I was like, "That's the twist of Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box." I will always remember it because I think it's maybe one of the dumbest twists I've ever seen in a story. I love it.
I love
it,
shitty
but it's
twists.
so dumb. It's so bad. Professor Layton is so lovely to me as a series that is just stuffed to bursting of like trying to top itself. And it never topped the second, but tried to top itself. How ridiculous of an endgame twist can we think of to explain the plot we've had? Like, there's so many simpler things. It's like, no. Everyone was a robot. And that's oh gosh. I was about to get into Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, and I'm like, no.
No,
I must hold my evil in.
But
I must hold it in.
There are 2 games coming out in very soon that I'm very excited for. They look fantastic, but I am way behind on both of these franchises, and that's Assassin's Creed Shadows and Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Someone told me about that second one, and I was like, "Are you serious? It sounds incredible."
Majima is a pirate now. Why not?
why not?
Apparently, he got amnesia and now thinks he's a pirate.
Yep, that
Right.
seems to be the premise of the game.
That's
I've only beaten Yakuza 0, and I've played a good bit of Yakuza Kiwami, so I have a lot of Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
And for Assassin's Creed, I think Shadows looks great, and I really want to get. I love the Assassin's Creed games. The most recent one I've played is Rogue. So I have a number of Assassin's Creed games to go because they keep making them.
Yeah, the most recent one I've played is Assassin's Creed 3. So I have a whole lot of homework.
I mean, that's understandable because Assassin's Creed 3 is the one where you're like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
But then you play 4, and 4 is like, oh, this fucking whips, actually.
Yeah, I loved the first several Assassin's Creeds, all 5 of them that came out before Assassin's Creed 3. And I am stoked that the new one seems to be going back in that direction and less of the giant open world RPG. This is RPG Book Club. I love the giant open world RPGs, but now when I'm like, I want to play an Assassin's Creed game, I have to like set aside to play Origins or Valhalla or Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot. So I the new one looks dope. So games that I have some homework for is only one game in both of them, but they're games that I have had on my backlog for a billion years. The first one is we're getting a new Phantom Brave game out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Disgaea's like annoying little brother from the PS2 is getting a second game, and that's
Disgaea had a lot of siblings on the PS2.
Absolutely. And Phantom Brave was the one that I thought it looked cool, and I thought the changes to the Disgaea system that they had, I thought were really, really interesting. And I added it to my backlog when it came out on the PS2, and still haven't played it. The other one that we're getting a second game to is Fantasy Life, and I love the concept of the first one, and I've also never played it.
Same.
Go ahead.
Yeah, same. I really want to play Fantasy Life, and I want to play Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time.
Mm-hmm. I looked up Phantom Brave, And when you said it really has that Disgaea feel, you are not joking. I feel like my soul was sent back in time 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like viscerally reliving that era of games and the people I knew who really liked this kind of specific thing. It's never been my bag, but I think like it makes me think of like several of my best friends from high school, and I mean that in a very affectionate way.
I'm impulse buying Phantom Brave, the PC remaster from last year right now because on the winter sale it's $4.
Nice.
Oh, I did the same thing.
Apparently, that's the version you should play, the PC version.
That's what I've heard.
I randomly was looking. Actually, I was looking for things for this episode. I was looking on Steam for things, and when I clicked, like looking in the store, like, oh, show me some queer games, and it was like, hey, did you know We Know the Devil and Heaven Will Be Mine are on super sale right now, and you can get both for under $4. I was like, I need to own those games, so yes, please. So now I do.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
So
now I've spent money on it, so Phantom Brave has probably it bumped itself up on my to be played list. It's now not just a game I keep seeing at retro game stores and being like, should I grab this? Because now I have it, so I have to play it.
So apparently the reason they did a sequel to Phantom Brave is because Nippon Ichi Software did a big poll for their American audience to be like, hey, what are your favorite Nippon Ichi Software characters? And they expected it to all be Disgaea characters at the top because that's their most popular thing. But apparently there were lots of Phantom Brave characters up really high. So they were like, oh, apparently people like Phantom Brave?
Wild.
That's what the Wikipedia page
stuff
says.
I love it if that is true. I love it when stuff like that affects those sort of decisions where they're like, oh wait, people actually liked that thing we made all that time ago? We should do more of it.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of games that we're getting a new one after a billion years, I think Perfect Dark is coming out next year, and it looked fantastic at the last Game Awards.
I completely forgot they were making a new Perfect Dark.
That is very cool.
Yeah. The gameplay trailer looked so cool. So the first Perfect Dark is GoldenEye is great. We lost the license. Let's do another GoldenEye.
Yeah.
But in universe, she was a super spy. But all you did was run around and shoot people. You didn't do much spy stuff. And then the new one, it is like all spy stuff with still being able to go around and shoot people. And it looks very, very cool.
That sounds awesome.
One thing I love about it is Joanna Dark has completely changed the way that she looks in every single game. And yet in that trailer to reveal what game it was, she takes off her helmet and reveals a face. And it's like, this doesn't work because this isn't what, like, Joanna doesn't have a nailed down look. This is somebody. Sure. Okay.
For another sequel to a franchise that hasn't been updated in ages. And I'm only putting this in here not for myself, but for other people in my life who I want to have joy. Metroid Prime 4 is supposed to come out next year.
Yeah.
Which, like, I love Metroid. I've never been able to click into the Prime sub-series, but the fact that they're doing another one, great. I want people who enjoy it to have it. I'm still very sated from Dread and loved Dread with every shriveled up bit of my heart.
Dread ruled.
Dread was fucking incredible. It was everything I could have wanted and more.
Yeah. I loved the crap out of Dread. Dread was the game that made me sign up for GameFly because I wanted it and I wanted that free first month free trial. And I was like, I need to play Dread right now, so I'm going to do this because I have no money and I have to be able to play this game. And that's also how I played Last of Us 2 and Ratchet and Clank, the new one. That was a good first month.
So, fun fact, I was thinking, have they released a release date released a release date. Have they announced a release date for Stray Children, the new game from Onion Games?
It's out.
Yeah, it turns out it came out in Japanese 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And so
so
I'm
excited.
wondering if the English version will come out in 2025.
On the Onion Seller, their newsletter, they talked about how now that it's out in Japan, the next news that they're going to have is they're nailing down stuff about the international version, and so we should be getting an announcement of the English version soon, and hopefully it is coming out this year.
Have they announced if it's Tim Rogers doing the English localization again?
They haven't announced it, but they're best friends, so I don't see why they wouldn't. The Onion Games famously, since it came out, said that Moon was untranslatable. Then Tim Rogers manages to localize the very, very Japanese Dandy Dungeon. And they're like, okay, well, maybe he can do it. And then he did for Moon. So I think at this point, it's probably Tim Rogers, but it could be someone else.
Yeah. I love Tim Rogers' writing style. And I think I haven't played Moon yet because I'm scared. But Dandy Dungeon is very fun writing. Tim Rogers' style and Onion Games' style seem to go together really well.
Is Silent Hill F supposed to come out in 2025, or have they not said?
I'm pretty sure they haven't said anything about when Silent Hill F is coming out. That's the one by
Ryukishi 07.
Yeah, is working on that one. Yeah.
The trailer for that one I thought looked incredibly cool.
Wait. I'm sorry. The dude who did Higurashi and Umineko is doing what the fuck?
Yeah. You're now excited for another game that might be coming out in 2025.
I am. You're correct. I'm also going, what?
Yeah, it's being written by Ryukishi 07.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And yeah, it looks like they have not announced a release date.
Okay.
Speaking of games that don't have a release date, so we don't know they're coming out next year, and games with a connection to Japanese visual novel creators, they've said that a remaster. I lied earlier about being out of remastered. I remembered I actually have one on my list and forgot. They've said that Fate Hollow Atroxia is getting a remaster next year. Or not next year, but it's in development. It could come out this next year. It could come out later. I don't know. And I need to explain what this... I'm not going to explain. I'm going to attempt to give context that I don't actually have. Because this game, I've been so eager to play it for a long time, and I've never been able to get it to fucking work. Because getting a visual novel from that era to work sometimes can be difficult, especially when it is this game, which apparently is I've always been confused if it is an actual thing that was made by the creators of the franchise of Fate, or if it is, because it described everywhere as a fan disc, which makes it feel like it was a fan thing that got canonized, but maybe not. I do not know. I just know it is that delicious thing of, oh, we're doing a sequel to the game that had 3 wildly diverging routes with completely different stories. We're not picking one of them. This is a weird sort of sequel where someone has fucked around and created a weird state of cosmic existence where all of the endings happened, but also none of them happened, and everyone's alive now. Don't worry about it.
So, fun fact, fan disc is a Japanese phenomenon usually for PC games that after the game comes out, they do, like, instead of a collector's edition with now there's the International Zodiac Job System or whatever, they just put out a fan disc, which will have extra content. Usually it's like fluffy AU sort of things, but this one sounds like it's not, but also might be.
Thank you for explaining that. I have been digging into this off and on for a while and did not... Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds absolutely nonsensical, and I'm so eager to play it in some form if it does get released this next year. Especially as I've been dragging my girlfriend into the Fate franchise somehow.
Yeah. My last one that I have is Little Nightmares 3. Have either of y'all played any of the Little Nightmares games?
No.
No.
Do you like the type of puzzle, not necessarily the way that they do them, but the type of puzzles in like Oddworld and Hitman Go, Tomb Raider Go, those sorts of things?
I have not played any of the games you've mentioned.
I haven't
just now.
either.
Okay. So
But the answer is yes.
Okay, cool. So it is a very linear puzzle game that is brutal when you fail, but it's all about like there's like very little there's not blah, blah, blah. There's an element of figuring out what you have to do, and then a second element of actually doing it, and that but it's never like twitchy super hard. It's just like here's how I create enough time for me to be able to run through this. Now I just have to do it. And it's a survival horror game in that genre. And the lore is really cool. It has no voice acting or words on screen at all, because that's how indie games have been for the past like 10 years. And like throughout the first game, you're like finding these little like douchebag other kids, and then towards the end you see how like they're evolved and everything, and there's this like the main bad guy. And then in the second game, one of the first monsters that you fight is this isn't really spoilers, it's on the cover of the second game, but it's like the protagonist from the first game has now become big crazy monster-fied, and they're very, very good. There's a Apple Arcade one called Very Little Nightmares that is a dumbed down version of it, but it's still really, really good, and I'm very excited for the third one.
Yeah, I have for a while. I've thought those games look cool. I should play them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Do you have any more that are on your probably coming out next year list, Bernard?
Yes. I also want to play Split Fiction. The new game from, what are they called? Hazelight? Yes, Hazelight Studios. Hazelight Studios did A Way Out, which I played and loved. They did Game of the Year, It Takes Two, which I played a little bit of, but I never got a chance to finish it because it's a co-op only game. You have to play it 2-player, and the person I was playing it with, I didn't get to finish it with them, but I thought it was really cool. And they're making another one of these co-op only games called Split Fiction, and I didn't even watch the trailer, but I loved A Way Out so much that I want to play this.
Having watched the trailer, I wish I had friends. It looks so good. I've been on the outside looking in for every single one of those games, and Split Fiction looks incredible.
Yeah, A Way Out, me and Maddie Grace just had like 2 days where we were just in the same place and weren't doing anything. So we just marathoned A Way Out, and it was an amazing gaming experience. And I wish I could do that for It Takes Two and Split Fiction as well.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, Storm is getting good enough at video games that It Takes Two is probably in his capability, so I might actually finally get to play that one.
I also want to play Ghost of Yote, but I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. Is that what it's called? Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Well, I don't know if I can trust you. No, I shouldn't give you such a hard time.
But it's
Ghost of
fun.
Tsushima
It's the podcast
correct.
running joke.
Yeah. My problem is not that I get everything wrong, because I don't get everything wrong, but I'm very confident in the things that I do get wrong, and that makes it extra funny.
Yes. Also, I'm excited for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to come out on PS5 because I want to play it on PS5. And what else? There's also a sequel to The Sinking City coming out, and ever since The Sinking City came out, I was like, I want to play The Sinking City because it's by Frogwares, and I played a little bit of one Frogwares game and was like, this is awesome. I want to play every Frogwares game, and then I haven't played any of them.
I don't think I've played any of their games.
They make those Sherlock Holmes games.
Oh, okay.
They're a Ukrainian developer. They have done a ton of Sherlock Holmes games, and I played a bit of Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's weirdly pluralized, Crimes and Punishments. I played a little bit of that and was like, this rules. But then I never finished it or played any of their other games.
Yeah, I've been wanting to check those Sherlock games out, not because I know anything about them, but I just know that they exist. And Scarlett's getting into Sherlock Holmes lately, which is wild. And I remember Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, the FMV game for DOS, was one of my favorite games growing up. And I'm like, I should do that again, but it'd probably be actually good. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is not very good.
It's an FMV game?
Yeah.
Nice.
I would love a good Sherlock Holmes game.
Yeah. So the Consulting Detective Sherlock Holmes game, if you liked her story and the fact that you could stumble upon the ending if you knew where to look, that's kind of what Consulting Detective is it's all like phone numbers you can call and places that Sherlock can go, and nothing's blocked off for you. You actually solve the mystery to be able to know what the next thing is, which is pretty cool. But her story did it better. Yeah, that game that came out 20 plus years later, yeah, it's better than that old one.
I have a last one, and I'm like looking at this board. I'm like going like, okay, I'm gonna throw this out, and this might turn out to be a terrible recommendation or a terrible thing to be excited about in hindsight, because it's from a studio called AAA Games. That, as far as I'm aware, the only games they have made are ones that are coming out next March and are not out yet. And but there's a trailer for a game they're doing called Another Round, which is a cyberpunk roguelike deck builder where you are running a bar, and the cards of your deck are the different patrons and stuff with. I don't know how to describe it. It just looks cool. I hope it is cool.
What is the developer called? Because I tried Googling Another Round game, and I got Another Round 200 trivia questions for cocktail nerds card games.
Another Round video game got me there.
Yeah, it's by AAA Games. I went to their Blue Sky page, and they have 21 followers.
Nice.
They made 4 posts.
That's about as good as the RPG Book Club Blue Sky page.
They're our peers.
Yeah, this looks cool. I like the graphics.
Yeah, no, it has the art style most reminds me of something like Papers, Please.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. It's got funk on it, and I like it.
Yeah.
So on the subject of games that are probably coming out next year, but who can fucking say?
Mm-hmm.
Possum Boy.
Possum Boy. Yeah, I get started on finishing that game tomorrow morning at 8:00. So I am excited for that game to be done.
I'm so excited for that game to be done. I've been working on that game so long.
Especially because our follow-up is going to be so much easier and less expensive.
It is.
And as much as, like, every day when I learn something new I can do in regex, I'm like, oh, I could maybe, like, make the computer remaster this game for me. I should go do that right now. I'm like, no, I can't. I have to finish Possum Boy. I can't start on the next thing. I can't be in the middle of projects forever.
Yes. But Possum Boy will be real someday.
Someday, hopefully soon.
Speaking of things that will be real someday, hopefully soon, do we want to talk about Nintendo?
Yes. So next year, there's a very real possibility there will be a new Nintendo console.
Which gets us into the completely wild, baseless guesses section, because Nintendo likes to announce their games about a month before they come out. So,
which I love. I love this
Same.
about them.
yeah.
Same.
But on every single coming out in 2025 thing that I could see, the only two Nintendo games on the list at all are Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends. And they're obviously going to release more than 2 games next year. So,
I mean, there's also Donkey Kong Country
Oh, true.
Returns HD.
True. I skipped over that one because I didn't like the first one that much.
Yeah.
I love Tropical
I-
Freeze, but I didn't like Returns that much.
Yeah, I didn't like Returns that much either. I want to give it another try though, because Tropical Freeze is like one of the best platformers ever, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'll take your word on it. My platforming tastes have always felt that the 2D country Donkey Kong games are too slow. It don't work for me.
Country Returns and Tropical Freeze should not have the country subtitle. They're basically completely unlike the old ones.
Okay, maybe
Like
they're more my
in-
speed.
Yeah, they're
and-
by different developers, completely different mechanics and everything.
But
Yeah.
speaking of Donkey Kong,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
what I want
Mm-hmm.
more than anything, not
Donkey
actually
Konga.
true. I'm like just having flashbacks to when that game came out, and I'd go to a store, they'd have the Donkey Konga Kong, the bongos. I'm laughing too much. No. Though some people would say I might as well be hoping for that with my answer of, I really want another Donkey Kong 3D collectible. I want a spiritual, at least, follow-up to Donkey Kong 64, because I fucking love that game
Mm-hmm.
so much. And I want another game with 18 different kinds of collectibles and a bunch of characters. And just nonsense. I need it. I need it deeply.
Yeah, those Mario, like they keep making new Mario games, but they're too good.
They're too
We
good.
need a game that's worse.
Yes, exactly. I want to have first-person shooting elements for no reason. They
Speaking
exist basically only because Rare done GoldenEye.
Mm-hmm. Yuka Replayly might be coming out next year, and that's a worse platformer collectathon game. This might be up your alley.
Maybe. It might be.
The graphics are a lot better
Yeah.
in Replayly than in Laylee.
Yeah. They said that in the thing it says has new challenges, secrets, mechanics, and accessibility options, which makes me think they probably have more shit in these giant levels that are completely way too empty. Like even worse than Banjo-Tooie levels.
Damn.
Fucking Mother 3.
I mean, yes.
So-
I mean,
So my joke button for the episode was going to be Mother 4. Just out of nowhere, just Mother 4 for Switch 2.
And they call it Mother 4. Would it be funnier if they call it Mother 4 or if they call it Earthbound 2?
oh my god.
Or Earthbound 3, and we never got Earthbound 2. But yeah, I at this point feel like it'll never happen. At the same exact time that I feel it is destined to happen with how many remakes and remasters and those sorts of things that have been happening lately.
I mean, in the fullness of history, in the expanse of the universe, in all of space-time, it will eventually happen.
True. After time being a flat circle, it comes back to the original release.
Yeah, the original release gets localized in the next loop of history.
Mhm.
I was talking about this with my wife earlier, and she had an idea that she begged me to throw out on the podcast, and I will, which is just Waluigiware. She only had a name and nothing else, so I will suggest Waluigiware should be the opposite of WarioWare.
So it's UFO 50.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. It's just, they feel like they're supposed to be minigames, but they go on so much longer than any minigame has any right to go.
Mhm.
They feel like the minigame version of those really long jokes that just set up for a really lame punchline.
Mhm.
The like ones that take 5 minutes to tell. That, but in minigame form.
Yes.
I would love that. I wouldn't play it, but I would love that it existed.
So
I mean,
it's-
listen, I'm a slut for WarioWare games. I'd be down.
It's been almost 2 years since a Fire Emblem game came out, so they've
Mhm.
got to announce a new Fire Emblem.
I'm gonna argue it's been longer because Engage doesn't fucking count.
Have you played
I never
Engage?
tried playing Engage, so
No,
I don't
I
know.
don't want to play it.
Engage is really fucking good, actually. Word on the
Okay.
street from people who have played it. It looks stupid. It looks like it's a gotcha ripoff, but what it actually is some of the like hardest and best and most like rewarding Fire Emblem maps that they've made in like the past very long time. So if you
Okay,
like,
but I don't give a shit about the maps. I don't play Fire Emblem games for the game. Okay, I do a little bit. It is fun. I do enjoy a good Fire Emblem game, but I'm here for the characters. I'm here for the story.
yeah, I completely understand that all of the people who have joined since Awakening, and especially the ones who joined at Three Houses, Engage is not for them. Engage is for people who like the Super NES games.
Okay, for the record, I did not join at Awakening. That's when I got really into the series, but I've played earlier ones. I've played Sacred Stones. I played the Binding Blade.
Yeah,
I didn't finish them, but I played them.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to imply that you had jumped on then, but a lot of people did, and
No, I'm
is
aware.
not for those
I'm aware. It was those are it's definitely one of those franchise turning points where it is a huge shift in what the series kind of is in identity that
Mhm.
creates kind of a factionalism between newer fans and older fans. And Engage is definitely for the older fans.
people. Mhm.
I love to hear that,
Yeah,
being who I am.
yeah. Bernard is definitely one of the old heads that I was referring to. So you should play. Engage.
I should play Engage. I should also play all the Super Nintendo games and shit.
Yeah,
I started with Fire Emblem for Game Boy Advance. I forget if that's the Binding Blade or the Blazing Blade. But the first one that came out in English, and I've played all the English releases pretty much after that.
yeah. I very recently, as in it was the episode that I wrote yesterday, have started getting really into the old school Fire Emblem games.
Nice.
I think I just the cons. I don't even hate the concept of Engage really. I would look at it. I'd look at it. And I'm just like, I wish it pulled like I want to pull deeper cut characters from older games into newer, like not just the main characters. I want some like, why is this character in this game sort of shit, and then give them really interesting support conversations with each other. Because wild support conversations that shouldn't work but absolutely invest you in the bond between two characters is like one of my favorite things about Fire Emblem.
Mhm. So speaking of Switch 2 potentially
Yes.
launch games, do you think we're getting a new 3D Mario Switch launch this year?
I would love that.
I mean, I would love that. And when did Bowser's Fury come out? I love Bowser's Fury so much.
I want to play
2021.
Yeah.
So it's been long enough. Yeah, it's been long enough. They can do a new 3D Mario.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in it. So if Yooka Replayly is coming out this year, I would love if Yooka Replayly comes out 2 months after 3D Mario changes 3D platformers again. So you could Replayly still sucks, even though it's so much better than it was before or whatever. It'll just have a very bad release time.
That would be very funny. Fucking this Wii Fit. And call it Wii Fit.
I want a Elite Dangerous like Star Fox, just big ol' lots of Star Fox in space. That's what I want.
Cool. That'd be really cool.
I love those personas.
Mm-hmm.
That is a franchise that I'm not really a Star Fox fan, but I want Star Fox fans to be happy, which is a rare thing.
Yeah.
On my weird random Nintendo thing, with a series that has an installment count of, depending on you count it, 3 to 5 maybe. I want a new Punch-Out game, and my pitch is I want a new Punch-Out game, and it's women's boxing.
Okay.
Thank you. That is it. That's my entire pitch. I also just want Punch-Out for the Wii is just one of my... the Wii has such a huge catalog. It is one of those systems that has a stupid big catalog, but it has so many gems in it. And I think Punch-Out on the Wii is one of the best Wii games. It's such a delightful experience that only takes you... I mean, depending on how good you are at Punch-Out, it can take you as little as like an hour and a half to however long it takes you to beat Mr. Sandman in order to beat it.
Yeah. Similarly, I hope ARMS isn't dead. I love when Nintendo makes new IP.
I have been wondering, are they going to make a weird new IP on the Switch too? Because, Wii U had Splatoon, and Switch had ARMS, and one of those was a huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love a new weird IP that no one sees coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes when they do a weird new IP, it's Splatoon, and it's immediately enshrined as one of the big Nintendo franchises that everybody loves. And then sometimes it's ARMS.
And then sometimes it's ARMS.
So, going back to Yuka Replayly for a second, because the Steam page is up.
Because that's the only thing you can talk about.
Yes. So the Steam page is up and it started playing the trailer, and they do a George Lucas wipe between the old one and the new one. And it's a remake. It is not a remaster, and the new level is smaller than the old level. So
nice.
I'm here for it. I think it'll probably be tightened up and be real good, and then Mario Odyssey 2 will come out and we'll just completely change what it means to be a 3D collectathon again.
Oh man, I forgot that the most recent Star Fox game is technically Star Fox 2.
Mm-hmm.
I should play that because I love Star Fox for the Super Nintendo.
So speaking of Switch 2 baseless rumors, I want the the virtual console to come back.
Yes,
we all do.
I would be down if it was in a hybrid Switch Online virtual console sort of thing, where you have like the core games that you get for subscribing, but they open up the emulator to other people to be able to port their games to it, and you can buy them piecemeal. That's what I want. I want it real bad.
I want to shop on the Wii Shop channel every Wednesday.
Yes. I spent...
No, here's the real thing. I want a Switch 2 eShop that works.
And has music.
And runs at more than 0 frames a second.
Yes. I want to press the button and not have to wait for like a minute.
I must have spent in total like over $200 of what was at the time my parents' money on the Wii, on the Virtual Console and the WiiWare stuff, because I loved it so much.
It was good.
It was
Like,
very good.
I love the NSO format because, like, I probably would never have played some of these weird games that they selected. All of the games that they're like, why would you pick this over Zelda or whatever? And I played a couple of those, and they're kind of fun. So
Yeah.
I want the NSO format to continue to highlight old weird games, but I also want to buy Shining Force,
Mm-hmm.
and real bad.
So here's a franchise revival I want.
Mhm.
Tell me.
I want a new Wario game, not a new WarioWare game.
Hell yeah.
A new Wario game
I
where
love
he
that.
runs and jumps and punches and stuff.
That would be great.
Like, especially so
The
part
last
of me
one
is,
was in 2008.
Yep. Wario, shake it.
so part of me is like, because Pizza Tower showed that everybody wants another Wario game, maybe Nintendo will do it. But also, it kind of makes me think that Nintendo will never do it because they're like, "Oh, you're trying to copy us, therefore we're not going to do it anymore."
I mean, it doesn't have to be in the Wario Land format. It could be something new and fresh. It could be if for some reason they wanted to make a follow-up to Wario World, I would love that.
Yeah.
But I can't see them doing that because that would be a ridiculous idea.
You know what the new Wario game should be?
What?
It should be a collectathon racing sim motorcycle combat game.
Yes.
Okay. I have another out of left field question mark one. Considering the last game in the series was in 2012, what about a fourth Kid Icarus game?
Well, I was going to say that Sakurai offhand mentioned that he had done a proposal for a new game, and they had gotten together a team for the game, and this was like a few years ago. And so a game is in development, and I'm like, is this a new Kid Icarus game? Is this some Kirby thing? I don't know. I want to know what Sakurai is working on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I just remember when Upright, like, Kid Icarus was such a character you really a lot of people only knew because he was in Smash. And then, Sakurai did Uprising and on the 3DS. And while I have not dipped into it yet, but I do, it's in my backlog. I do want to play it at some point. People I know have played at least have a lot of love for the writing in that game and it just being kind of fun and sparkly.
I've heard it is a absolutely fantastic piece of game design, and I really want to play it, but I have not played it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Speaking of games that I want to come back, it's kind of weird that we don't have a big 3D Dark Souls like Castlevania, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, I want a mix between Dark Souls and Metroid Prime, Castlevania, to come out, and you just have this big ass castle that you got to figure out how to get through, and there's bosses all over the place, and they're hard as shit.
I mean, there have been some 3D Castlevania games like on the PlayStation 2 and stuff, but I don't know. I haven't played them. I don't know if they're good or what sort of format they are.
Yeah, I think because I think I boldly was wrong and said that they hadn't done one, and then Maddie brought them up, and looking into them, they're all not Igavanias. They're just 3D action games starring Castlevania characters, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'd be fine if another one of those came out. But I think Castlevania in a Metroid Prime like would be
Absolutely
so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could see Konami doing that in their attempt to make a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but most people loved the Silent Hill 2 remake, so Konami is having some success making their comeback.
Yeah, and I mean, on our most anticipated games list we did just a couple minutes ago, there were 2 Konami games on it. So,
and we didn't even mention Metal Gear Solid Delta.
No, we didn't.
Which is supposed to come out next year.
Mm-hmm.
I want a new Mario sports game that is really
Yes. I want
I
it
want-
to be co-developed by Square Enix for some reason and have the white mage with pink hair.
I mean, I would be down for that. I was thinking, I want another sports game with Camelot's hand on it to give it a weird story mode with like them basically make an RPG on the side because they're Camelot and they do that.
Yes.
So, you said the magic words that are bringing forth I've said this every year for the past bajillion years, but I want a new Camelot RPG.
Yeah.
I know that I don't even think that all of the RPG people from Camelot are even still there, but I want them to be, and I want them to make it doesn't even have to be a Golden Sun 4. Apparently Golden Sun 3 ends on a cliffhanger, and that's part of the reason everybody's mad. I've never played 3. I don't care. It can be Beyond the Beyond 2. I'd be fine with that. It doesn't matter to me. I just want another RPG studio inside of Nintendo.
Yes, agreed. I just really like it when Mario does sports. I think it's fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Mario doing sports, racing cars is a sport. There's probably going to be a Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. I would love a new Mario Kart so much.
Yeah. Especially because they said not too long ago that the DLC was not by the main Mario Kart team, and all we've had for the past several years is DLC for Mario Kart 8, which means that the Mario Kart team has been working on Mario Kart 9. Or Tour. It might be Tour. It's probably not Tour. It's probably Mario Kart 9. And I'm very excited for the next one.
I feel like Mario Kart 8 is such a huge, expansive, perfect video game, but I really want Mario Kart 9.
Mm-hmm.
I want it.
I just hope that the gimmick is not the one that they almost picked for Mario Kart 8 of digging underground. That doesn't seem fun.
What?
That doesn't seem Mario Kart at all. Yeah, the idea was you're going to have drills on the front of your carts, and you could drill through the ground for the.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
I don't like that at all. I hope they gave up on that, or they spin that off into a different game, and it's not Mario Kart.
Okay, so I was trying to find out about this, so I Googled Mario Kart Underground, and I got a Newgrounds game from 2004.
There have been several Did You Know Gaming things about it, so that's where
Mario Kart Drill. Mario Kart 8 had a scrapped gimmick where players would be able to drill underground.
Incredible.
According to this Reddit post.
I have a more specific, even weirder thing than a Camelot 1 or Mario Kart 9. I'm sure we all remember Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games as a thing that exists. I would have proposed they do something similar. Not necessarily Olympic Games, but definitely like a multi-sport sort of thing that is Mario teaming up with another video game icon. But I don't think it needs to be Sonic again. We've had a couple of those crossovers. They're fine. I want Mario and Mega Man.
Nice. So you want to know what's hilarious? And by hilarious,
Yes.
I mean crypto has ruined the world forever. The Olympics decided that powerhouse developers Nintendo shouldn't get the Olympics license, and so the reason we haven't got one is because all of the Olympic games since have been shitty NFT games that nobody has even heard about.
Are you fucking... I shouldn't be surprised, but that is infuriating.
Very infuriating.
Man,
also
the Olympics
Mario
sucks ass, doesn't it?
It really do. It really do. Actually, also on that note, because I consider it, even though it's on various consoles, in my heart, it is a Nintendo thing. Mega Man 12, please? New Mega Man? New classic Mega Man?
It can be a new classic Mega Man. It can be a new Mega Man X. It could be a new Mega Man Legends. It could be a new Mega Man Soccer. I want Mega Man to not be dead.
Yes,
I want Mega Man to not be dead. He needs more than just remakes.
It is so.
Go ahead.
It is so weird to me how Capcom is like killing it. They're on top of the world. They're putting out Resident Evil. They're putting out Monster Hunter. They're putting out all this stuff, and everybody loves it, but they have no idea what to do with Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is up with that?
Speaking of Capcom things that are largely associated with Nintendo, I need Ace Attorney 7. Please! I know you're making it, Capcom. I need it. I need it to
Yes.
come out and then inject into my vein. And please make an Athena game. Please let Phoenix take a backseat role again. I need Athena Sykes to have a game where she's awesome and gets to do cool shit. Because she's my girl.
That would be great because she's fun. And it
She's
would be great
so
if she got to
fun.
do something.
Yeah. I will argue, man, the main things I like about the sixth game is I feel like they gave her the ways they used her throughout all the cases that she has an impact in are very consistent in a way that better characterizes what her role is on the team in a way that I think is really cool and sets up like why Athena is a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple answer. The answer is spoilers. It's because she's a psychologist and she wants to help people, and not just help people in the I want to solve a case way. She actually wants to do what she can to make people's mental health actually better and help them through the trauma they've been through, which is just delightful and I think a really interesting idea for a mystery solving character.
Yeah, I want new Ace Attorney, and by that I mean I need to finish 5 Ace Attorney games.
Yeah, you do. I say, as Ace Attorney truly being one of my all-time favorite franchises, and I still haven't finished Great Ace Attorney or started the second one. I'm sorry, I consider that a side series and thus of lesser import. Yes, I know it was made by Shu Takumi. I don't think Daddy matters. I don't care. I think Oeuvres and the great man art history is dead.
I do really like the Great Ace Attorney, though.
I know it is really good from what I've played of it. Every time they do the dance of deduction, I'm happy inside.
I really enjoyed how it feels like it takes place in the real world, and like characters like nationalities and stuff like are important, and it sort of feels like Shu Takumi went on a trip to England and had a bad time.
I mean, listen, all the deep criticism of England in that game is extremely appreciated by me.
So speaking of dead franchises that should come back this year.
Yes.
The CEO of Sony said yesterday that they're very after Astrobot's success. He didn't say Astrobot, but we all know it's because of Astrobot that he's looking at rebooting some classic Sony IP. So I want them to announce a new Ape Escape in 2025.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
I love that.
I want to play an Ape Escape game with controls.
Yeah.
I don't know why the connection is so tenuous, but when you say that, it just in my head I heard I would love it if there was a Hello Pikachu game with controls.
It's not quite
Hey
that
you
bad.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
I know, but still.
And then speaking of classic Sony franchises, they've been posting updates for Armed Fantasia every single month since the Kickstarter, and it looks real good. And I can't wait for it to come out because that's the new Wild Arms game, basically. In the update from a couple of days ago, they mentioned one of the Terra SKU, which shows up in every Wild Arms game, and so the interviewer was like, "Will a Terra SKU appear in Armed Fantasia as well?" And he goes, "This is a spiritual successor, so obviously," and it makes me very happy. I really want that game to come out and also be good, and also for a real Wild Arms 6 or 7 or whatever one to come out. I can't remember if it was Wild Arms Million Memories. It's Breath of Fire 6 that was wasted on its gotcha game, so it'll be Wild Arms 6.
Star Tropics 3.
I feel like that's a great signal that we're wrapping up.
I have a couple rapid fire, fire ones. Then we can be done. I want Overcooked 3.
Okay.
I want those 3 AAA Sega reboots. I want them to happen. All 3 of them. I only really care about Jet Set Radio, but I'll take a new Crazy Taxi, and I forget what the other one was.
If
There
there was
was
a new Crazy
also a
Taxi, I would
Golden
lose my
Axe.
mind.
Golden Axe. Yeah,
And
I
I
would
think-
lose my fucking mind.
And then, of course, my last one is I want Dragon Quest 12. I want it to be not only just more info, I want it to be out next year.
I want a new Crazy Taxi where you can customize the music, like you can mod in music to be playing in your taxi car, and I can listen to Chapel Roan.
I guess it's because I'm tired, but for some reason my brain just thought the sentence ended mid-word, and I thought you were just saying, I want a Crazy Taxi where you can cuss.
Yeah, a Crazy Taxi that comes out after Sega is multi-platform means it'll be on the PC, and you will absolutely be able to mod in your own music.
Let Crazy Taxi say fuck.
Listen, I was gonna say if any Sega game could say fuck, that's not true. But Crazy Taxi does have the vibes of should be allowed to say fuck.
I also want a new Sonic.
Should shout fuck as you hit the.
New Sonic game and Knuckles can say fuck. That's
Only Knuckles.
Only Knuckles.
Only Knuckles. New Sonic game that has Surge the Tenric in it just for me and no one else.
Every Sonic character gets one cuss word. Shadow obviously gets damn.
Yeah.
No, if that happens, Surge would take them all. She was born to say fuck. No, she wasn't born, actually. She was made in a lab by an evil platypus so she could say fuck.
Yeah, we should probably continue to be unhinged in the after show.
Yes.
Good idea.
And that'll do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you'll get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gadabout tier gets access to our bonus feed where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show that are backer only. We're going to have a lot of those coming up. I'm working overtime on getting caught up on several of our mid-season things. And at $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets all of the above, but I also say their names at the end of every episode, just like this. Shoutouts to Frosthair, Dragonslayer 19, Kale Dronis, Freddie Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a one-sentence shout-out to whatever it is that they're passionate about. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimk, who says, once this was done, she spent a long time methodically kicking apart every single innocuous drift and hummock of dirt and rock that had been left on the worn floor of the landing field. And as Cleartime says, for you TTRPG nerds out there, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game, I just think it's neat. And for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.